Good evening, everybody. It's Shelley Johns here and Ross Henderson from Gympie.
Good evening.
So we've just literally got back from Hong Kong at 3 p.m. today. We had an amazing time at the Southeast Asia Extravaganza in Hong Kong. So it was quite an amazing experience. And we really want to share just some things on what we got out of it. And next Monday's team call is going to be quite comprehensive on a little bit of, I guess, some of the training highlights of what lots of everyone got out of it, because there's a few people that are not back yet, like Coral and Michael, and a few other people we don't want to leave all their good news and experiences out of it as well. So that will add on to that, including all the updated promotions and things like that. So let's just go on to some photos. I think I need to click first, don't I? So this is where it was held at, which is the Asia World Expo, which is quite a huge venue. And it needed to be, because if you see this photo here, so this is right at the back of the room with one of those fisheye lenses that you put it all together. There was 18,500 people from 14 countries. So it was, and I must admit it was a bit hard to find some of our fellow Aussies in the crowd. But there was people like Cambodia was on fire and Vietnam was on fire. It was a real eye-opener. And it was great because there was a walkway that we just came out and we walked across the hotel. It was literally a 5-minute walk, so we would often at lunchtime go and make our shakes in our room.
Yep.
It was just much easier than the amount of lines and lining up and everything like that. So just wanted to give you an idea of what it looked like. It was quite amazing. So let's just click on to the next one. So here's Lindy, who was in the general seating, getting lots of photos. And we did get lots of photos too, except that we don't have them because they're on other people's phones, obviously. So we did get, we were quite popular, the Aussies getting people wanting photos. And I loved their enthusiasm, and they always just wanted just one more photo, right?
Absolutely, just one more.
So, Lindy, tell us about your experience in the general seating area and being around people from all the other countries.
Well, this was the first one I've ever been to, so there were so many people. And like you say, it was really hard trying to find the Aussies. So first time I just sat myself down on a seat because, it was just me. It's easy to sort of worm through the crowds when you've only got, your body and 2 elbows. And so I initially sat down amongst all of the Vietnamese people, and that was just so funny. And the ladies there in that photo, I think, were from Korea. Oh yeah, the flag, of course. But they all had the little flashing crown lights on. Everyone had silly wigs or dancing up on chairs, and when they came out with the dancing in the beginning on stage, that was just like everybody. The crowds went wild. It was just, there's just no words for it. It was absolutely fantastic, and every single speaker that got up on stage, I think it was nice because it sort of brought it back to, like, they're just like everybody else, but they've just all got different stories. So it was very personable. It was easy to relate to everybody that was on stage. And because we had the little transistor radio, so they could translate everything, and that was easy too. I was a little bit worried about how that was going to go, but that went really well. I like Michael Johnson, when the CEO, when he came on stage, he was really nice. It was just keeping it very simple, like building a pathway to success and changing the economic landscape. I just thought that was a very simple way to put it. And he said, hope is nothing without a plan. So that was good. Dr. Luigi was really good when he talked about all the testing of products and how and why, and about botanical identification programs and the seed to feed, and how the extraction of some things, or to get the best of products. And so but someone says it in a more medical detail, but still at a point where you could understand it, was just fantastic. And some of the Chairman's Club and Pres people speaking on stage, it was just beautiful and hard not to shed a tear, and some of them got really emotional. But I suppose I didn't expect to sit down in the first 5 minutes and have the light bulb go over my head to know what I was going to do for the future. That was not what I expected at all. So that was really good. So I enjoyed that. And then I just had a little plan going, I'll just talk to 5 people a day. And that first 24 hours in coming home, I spoke to 12. So it was really good, really, really good. And just I was so exhausted, trying to do transfer flights and flights changing and things. So I thought, well, you got to look at the positive side. It doesn't really matter. You'll get home eventually. It's just the process in between. And I just sat down and closed my eyes, opened my eyes, and then there was just a few people engaging in conversation, and things just went from there. So it's just keeping it back to the basics and not pushing too much and listening more and not. It was just great. I just can't. I couldn't even sleep properly because there's too much to take in, and you hear people say brain drain, but it really is a brain drain because you just so much to take in. Sore hand from writing, it was great. I'm looking forward to the next one, and I'm not going to miss an STS if it kills me going from here to Canberra and back again now.
That's fantastic. So you've come very inspired, but you've also put it into action, which is great, and you're following through, which is so important. Coming up a big event like this, it can be quite overwhelming sometimes with the amount of people and the time away from home and the travel. So well done on making that commitment to go.
Even sometimes I thought some of the different countries had some really interesting things, like the Chinese and the Macau group. They had a little booklet that was printed that they were asking their downline to do. So they were walking around to a whole lot of different nationalities saying, what's your age, what's your name?
We answered that, some of those.
Business and personal and, can I take your photo? And some of them had little mini laminated sheets they were giving out to people saying their before and afters. Some had them laminated in little pockets on their bags. So, you can always learn from someone else even if you can't speak the language very well.
They were very enthusiastic. So
yeah.
And they all they're all one team, and they all, stuck together, and they're all excited together. I really love that. That's something I think that I would like to have in our group and our states and things like that, where we all bind together and we move forward together. And I really want to set that example. That was something that I thought of. So I put this photo up of Ross now because obviously Ross doesn't like photos. So I got a good photo of us. Put that one up there and it's okay, you don't have to like photos to do this, except that when you're at an event there tends to be lots of opportunities where you can. So I tried not to be too overboard about it, but it's all cool. So did you have anything you wanted to add?
At the moment, no, you're right.
Cool. So you get to registration, and there's so you go in and you register. Then you can go in and get your merchandise, and there's also product sales as well. So different types of flavours of products and things that you can't get in Australia. So that was quite a popular line, I think more popular than what they were thinking. There was huge lines for that. But I loved and this was just a few of the things of all the different merchandise views and the places you go and get photo opportunities. So I just scooted around and took a few on the first day before I got really busy, just to show you what Herbalife created. I thought they were really great. And this little one down the bottom is walk the red carpet and experience a moment of recognition, strike a pose for a 360 video. So I thought that was really cool. So you create your own 360 video and then you could actually download it. So I loved that. I thought that was great. And definitely there was lots of people taking full advantage of all the props and the branding and things like that too. I love this wall, but I could see that at the centre, having lots of photos like that. So VIP seating, we did work our little butts off for 3 months to qualify for VIP seating. I'm glad we did, even though it was still quite long lines. It was a huge amount of people that was qualified too. It made you sort of think that, wow, we could be doing a lot more.
Absolutely.
But it also, we were able to sit in the front row, right, and this is all President's team behind this gate, so you can't go in there unless they let some of the VIPs in to get things signed and that sort of, and take photos of the speakers. But basically, that's, if you want to be right at the stage, you need to be President's team, and I'll show you in a second. But yeah, just having a seat where you could actually see the stage really clearly was great, and just a special area to go into, that was really cool. So this is a President's Team area. So these are President's Team, Founders Circle and Chairman's Club tables, and they were all full. So this is like quite mind-boggling. And just looking and seeing the recognition, and I've only got one of the recognition photos, but there was just so much recognition. I know you've probably seen it on Facebook. of how many new President's team members and how young some of these are in the different countries, like especially Vietnam. They were cracking out Pres team.
And how quickly they were getting there too. I mean, not from obviously doing the work to get there, but still in a very short period of time working really hard to get there. A lot of, admiration for a lot of them.
And again, because it was such a Nutrition Club focus, which is why the guest speakers were there in the first place, and we'll get to their photos, is that it's a lot of people doing a little bit, so they're on personal consumption, making sure that their customers were consuming products as a Nutrition Club style. And even though that's not what we do at our centre, it's still having customers, even if someone was on a Dong Quai or an aloe or an instant heavy beverage or a full program, didn't really matter as long as they're on something. So it was a lot of people consuming a little bit. And that's how they were doing it. And they probably created a very solid foundation so that if someone did happen to fall off, it didn't have so much of an impact, which I think is really important as well. So yes, just picture yourself at the President's team table, and when do you want to have that happen? So I love this visual, because when I first came in, it was completely empty because no one had arrived yet, and then it was just full of President's team, Chairman's Club, and Founders Circle as well, which is pretty amazing. And so a Chairman's Club member has 5 President's team members on their first line, and a Founders Circle has 10. And obviously there's people that have achieved Founders Circle, so they probably need to come up with something new.
They may need to.
So this was our guest speakers, or one of them anyway, Isabel and Jonathan from Puerto Rico. And they have a very strong Nutrition Club focus, but there was a few points that can relate to any community, and I'm just going to go through it. So this is Jonathan and Isabel. So she's a housewife, mother of 2 children, a 3 and a 4-year-old. And so basically, they both end up being nurses, and they're obviously looking for some extra income. So basically, Isabel said, we're passionate about having direct contact with people every day. So just imagine this, whether you've got a club or you're out walking and talking or going to businesses or handing out flyers, that you're in direct contact with people every single day. Just like Lindy said, she set a goal and she's following through. And that's probably something we do. I think we did 2 walk and talks today through the airports. Actually, one was on the plane with the guy that was in charge of the area that we were in. Jimmy, and he said he's from Rockhampton, so I didn't get his number, but I gave him a business card. Just said, that the products are really good for people that are flying all the time because of the stress it puts under your body. And then the second one was I went and got a vanilla latte at the Krispy Kreme donut place. And I had my black t-shirt with the Healthier and Happier and Herbalife Nutrition on it in gold. And I had my jacket over it. So I didn't have a button on or anything like that. And she said, oh, do you want a donut? She goes, oh, and she saw my nutrition and she made, oh, you're not going to want a donut. I said, we can still have donuts on Herbalife. And so she laughed and we laughed and just got talking about it. And she was really polite and everything and very friendly. I said, oh, is this your business? She said, no, I just work here. And we just sort of got chatting and I gave her a business card as well. So I think I got 2 out, considering I was tired.
So natural walk and talks.
Yes, and so you can go out and go, right, we're hitting this street, and we're going to do this many businesses and do it that way, structured, or you can do it where you just in that general conversation like you would have done, Lindy, as well when you're at the airport, just, you're there anyway.
Yeah, well, yeah. Excuse me.
That's okay.
Sorry. It was really bizarre though, because a lot of them were within the airports and a customs bloke and on the other end. But the best one was when I was sitting in the business lounge, I spoke to a woman who is a cardiologist researcher who goes from Melbourne to the States and back again. And the first thing she did, she looked at my T-shirt because I had the green one with Herbalife Nutrition on it, and she said, sick of my job, sick of working long hours, sick of just doing something for everybody else. So what could you do for me? And I think she said, oh, I'm just joking. And then I went, well, I'm not. And then that's how our conversation started. And then the best one I've told, because there's a local bloke who used to be a chauffeur for politicians who's just retired now. He said, I'll just give all your cards, because I gave him a big bunch, and he said he'll give them to some of the pollies and other people he knows, and some of the, all the contacts. Oh, hello, Ben. Do you want to say hello, darling? Say hello. Yeah, that's Ross and Shelley and Trish.
Cool. And I think that's it. Is that we're looking for dissatisfied people, basically.
Yeah.
And there's
But
lots of them out there, lots of dissatisfied people.
yeah, absolutely. So, but even the bloke on the plane, I wanted to sleep. I was really tired. But he was into disabilities and health and acupuncturist and a completely different thing, and wanted to connect with someone else in the same industry. So I really wanted to sleep, but it was really good to really talk to someone who is really intelligent.
Good.
You know.
Yep. Excellent.
So if nothing else, you going to Extravaganza exposed you to a whole new set of people that you would have never exposed yourself to have conversations with.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I would probably just have a general conversation that would just stop, but then, you know, you can't, it's massive action. You've got to do massive action.
Right.
You just can't sit there and talk about it. So today I knew I couldn't get out because I was just here with Joshy. So then I thought, well, I'm not going to sit back and do nothing. What else can I do? Whereas before I probably would have, oh, well, I'll just do it tomorrow.
Yep.
Whereas I'm not doing that now. I'm just going, I'm not wasting time. This
And
is
I
what I'm
think
doing.
probably one of the best advice I was always given, especially by Gary, was that when you get back from an event, you've got that 72 hours to really make the most of it. So getting into action as soon as you get home is really important as well. So yes, I was tired today. I could have definitely had a sleep, but I got my diary out. I sent some of the photos of the extravaganza because I couldn't send any to the girls while I was away. They just wouldn't send. So I actually painted the picture, and it was good. Mackenzie messaged back, wow, I wish I was there. And, you know, I want to expand their minds and that. So that was really great that I was able to do that. I showed Mum some of the photos as well, put this PowerPoint quickly together, very quickly, then realised that I'd left my charger in the plane, and so we had 3% on it. So we actually, your phone actually has the same charger.
Lucky.
Yeah.
Lucky.
Crisis averted.
It's always a solution.
There it is.
Yeah,
And
see, whereas tomorrow I'll probably read everything. You know what I mean? It's so, there's so much to take in, and you write so much. But I thought I can't. I did have a good night's sleep, but I couldn't write or read today, so I just did action.
Review your notes, pick out some highlights and things like that. Like I wrote very quickly, so it'll be like a bit of a scroll, but I understand so I can rewrite it. So this is Jonathan, and I love this too. So this is when they were doing their intro story. I believe that the concept of serving others is what defines us. So I really love that because there's a few books I've read that have talked about serving others, and I think it's the one about the money, the pink and black book. Personal development one, Think and Grow Rich.
Yes.
Sorry,
Pink
oh my
and Black.
goodness. Black with
sorry.
pink, sorry.
Okay, whatever.
Think and Grow Rich. He talks about that if he lost all his millions or billions, that what he would do, turn it back, was to actually serve others. And it would really surprise the person that was interviewing. But, you know, so the more people we can serve, the more value we bring and the more people's lives we can affect. So if you love serving people, and whatever way that is, this is a really, really important thing too. So I love that. So look, Jonathan and Isabel, you know, really went through it. So we're going to get into a bit more in depth on Monday. So they talked right throughout the weekend. Then we had Dr. Luigi. We actually had two doctors come up. Dr. Luigi obviously went through what Lindy was saying, which was more about just going through the products and how the quality that is there, some of the products that are coming out, and just some of our philosophies, you know, about the nutrition and how, you know, we look at it now with the brand and everything like that being number one. And these are, you know, not just labels that are given, they're actually, you know, they're facts. It's all factual. So he was fantastic. Looks great as well. He did a little disclaimer that, you know, he takes 20 Herbalife Line a day. But, you know, obviously with the lawyers and things like that are in different, that attend these different meetings, there's things that he can and can't say. But I guess what he was saying is that take as much product as you need to, and that some of the products, obviously, the more you take, the better result you get. But he said always use the products as directed. Which I thought was funny, but he takes 20 Herbalife one day. Not saying that you have to do that, but he looks pretty healthy and he's a triathlete himself. So he did a fantastic nutrition training. The other doctor, which is not coming to my mind, he was great too because he talked more about, I guess, it was more business related and how we're trying to grow the company and everything like that. So, and the strategies behind that. So I really love that too. It's two totally different perspectives on the product. So I've got all the notes on that because I wrote like a crazy person. So we'll go through a bit more about some of the facts that they covered that I wrote that actually weren't on the screen. And we can add those in on Monday. And this was, sorry, I've got the slide slightly rearranged. Jonathan said that they made the decision to dedicate their first year to hard work in order to prepare for my later years. And sometimes people don't do that. You know, we might be working in other jobs or studying or have family or all of those things. And then we've got those snippets of time in between, or maybe we've got all the time in the world and and we're not doing anything else. Why not just work hard for 12 months? I think our goal is to work hard for the next 2 years and set ourselves up completely.
Totally.
and just go for it and work as hard as we can. And you know what? I've worked on a farm. I grew up working on a farm, and that was hard work. Picking watermelons and rock melons and, like doing all that sort of stuff was hard work. So this is more mentally hard, I suppose, because you've got to discipline yourself to do it. And you're watching Gary Vee at the airport today, and he was saying how much he loves just in his spare time going to garage sales, and I know Trishy loves this too, in finding things that you can get even for free and sell, or things that people don't think are valuable and buying them not much, and then making he gets more excited about that than all the millions that he makes a year on all the companies he owns. So you've got to put things in perspective.
And don't forget too, though, when he did that, like when he got up and he said that too, they've done considerably well considering all the hurricanes that went through the area. So there was no stopping. He just kept going and going and went through that. And I suppose to a certain degree it's a distraction from, horrors as well. But they still kept going. Nothing stopped them. And that was quite admirable as well.
As you said, they could cry about it, that the hurricane had got rid of, there was no phones, no water, no electricity, and some up to 3 months. They could cry about it or make excuses, or he got his team together and said, this is an opportunity to help people. People are crying out for nutrition. So he had a few people come the first day into the nutrition club, and they just used the water that they had at home, and then they were able to and they rang the warehouse and they were able to get more products in, and he was getting 80 people in a day that needed that nutrition just to come in and get a shake. And what an impact on people's health and stress and things like that. But he also helped all the other people that had their little nutrition clubs too stay in business and help their communities. And a lot of them went on to become president's team members because of that, because they all bounded in together under, a real challenge. So that I felt that was pretty inspiring, actually. We had our CEO, Michael O. Johnson, who was worked for Disney for 10 years as their CEO and did amazing things. And it was actually his birthday, so he spent his birthday with his Herbalife family. So they got to celebrate his birthday. He did a cake, but he also talked a lot about Herbalife and the brand and some of the things that are going to be happening to really make Herbalife as big as possible, which is great. So it's not very often you get your CEO come and spend some time with you, and I know that something really impacted you that he was talking about.
Yeah, so when Michael got on stage, and that was probably early on in the weekend, he spoke about it when he originally took around the 70th Surgeon General that we have within the company, and took the general around that didn't have time, didn't want to really do what he was doing, was filling in the time, doing the polite thing. Michael took him to all these different places of the factories and bits and pieces of how Herbalife produces product, and the guy was basically like, come on, I gotta go. Until he took him to the raw bits of what Herbalife is, which is where our lifestyle centers, nutrition clubs, or just your offices, or where there was community of people. And he basically turned around to Michael at that point and said, why didn't you take me here first? If you'd have taken me here first, we wouldn't have needed to do the rest. Because his attitude was, you have a greater chance of impacting people's lives from a health point of view than virtually he does, right on the ground roots, right to face, person to person. And that was really what probably kicked me for the whole weekend, was the fact that we have the ability to be able to sit down with someone face to face and help and change someone's life.
Yeah.
More so than anybody else. Because if you think about it, a person goes to a doctor, gets a diagnosis, they walk away, and most of the time they don't go back. And the doctor doesn't ring them. What do? someone comes and says, I'm overweight, I've got health issues, I've got whatever it may be, we sit down, we try and work with them, and then what do? We do the thing called follow-up. We ring the person, go, how are you? What are you doing? How can we help? And we stay in contact, and we have the ability far easier to change someone's life. And I found that really, really inspiring from that perspective point of view, when you really look at it from that way.
So the whole theme was our difference inspires results. So our point of difference of that distributor, seeing people face to face, getting people into our communities, into the centre. And I know our Thursday morning's quite magical. I know, Trish, you've been in, and having everyone all there at the same time. And it was something that Jonathan and Isabel said, that what ends up happening in their nutrition clubs is that their customers end up training everyone else. And I was thinking that more like Helen. When Helen comes in, she's got these inspiring results. She talks about what products she's using. She's talking about how she has her shakes, and everyone else is sharing their different recipes and things like that and their results. And basically all of that is a customer who has no financial benefit, sharing from the heart on what to, and it's actually very, very effective. So they actually have customer days and customer trainings and things like that, where they educate customers on the products. And I'd love to do a bit more of that and really utilise that, especially with our Let's Go July event, introducing in some of those concepts in. And it's really just an adjustment on what we're doing, or an enhancement, and being very aware of the power that we've got, so which is fantastic. So
we can sit here and talk all we like, and we can't give justice to what you experience in these situations. But when you see you're in an event of 18,500 people, because when you're in your own little lifestyle centre, home, and you're talking to one-on-one person, you have really this, you just think of, oh, this is just this small little organisation. But when you are there and you sit and look at 8,500 people, and you look at, you're in an Asian country where they're doing it probably 10 times harder than we are in a lot of cases, and you look at them, and it's enough that gets them out of whatever the desperation points of view some of them are in, and you just really get a better grasp of what goes on. You do need to experience it, even if it's just the experience of it, for nothing else. Even if out of the whole weekend you just get that one light bulb moment and go, this is bigger than I realised, this is greater than I realised, and I didn't realise how much of impact I can individually have on the world or on people around me. You have to experience it.
Yeah, absolutely. And so like the energy in the room is just really electric. And I love this photo though with Michael O'J, because Jennifer's in the background there. So I thought I got a really great photo. I was taking heaps of photos all weekend. I took hundreds and hundreds, so it was great to be able to get a few really candid ones there as well. So, and I sent that one to Jennifer, which is cool. So they did this fantastic results session, and I know I'll put a little video up of it and a few photos on Facebook.
I love that one. It was so funny.
It was just great. The music was great, and they did the full photo of what they were, and this is for each country. I didn't put them, there was heaps, I didn't put them all up. And then they did the after photo, and then the person came out on stage with wings. I think one of my favourites was Justin, this guy who's obviously a little bit older, and obviously had him, he wasn't like drastically overweight, it was about 65 kilos, but he had very poor posture, and he's had his little pot stomach sticking out, and then all of a sudden here he comes out fully buffed, and he did like this thing with his muscles, and
he was so excited, wasn't he? He had the best smile. It was just fantastic to watch. He was just so chuffed.
And obviously some of the guys like showing their abs, but one of the other inspiring ones down here was Fernan from the Philippines, and he was at 99 kilos and now he's at 72. And you could see how proud of himself that he was. And sometimes we think, even here in Australia, thinking about the Asian population that we have, and we have quite a few, that all they want to lose is 3 or 4 kilos. And if they put on, that much, 3, 4, 5, 6 kilos, it actually dramatically affects how they feel and really shows. So they just want to lose those few kilos, and we could really help them. There was just so many people with results that we were talking to, and they were showing us their before and afters. And this was really inspiring. So make sure you have a look at the video on Facebook, but we will elaborate a little bit more on this on Monday night. So very inspiring with the results. So the party was great. I did post some photos of the party, and even though we kind of had a fairly quiet night, the food was spectacular. it was actually a bit like the buffet that we had.
Yep.
At the hotel. It was really great quality food and heaps of it. They weren't going to run out of any. Lots of amazing props all over the place. They'd really gone to a lot of trouble. The president's team had a section with all these beautiful tables. The Chairman's Club had this gorgeous tables, all this crystal. It was just so beautiful. And of course, Jennifer was there. It was, you know, she's just puts in so much time, doesn't ever say no to anything. So she was there all the time. And then she'd already been to the party the night before, remember, because they had so many people qualify and they had to split it. And so here she was again. Her and Lynn were there. We said hi to her. And then because she was the only Chairman's Club member that had arrived, she got to do a speech, and she was so gracious and inspiring, talking about her background and that anyone, you know, just go for it. And then she was completely swamped with people for photos, which was great. Dr. Luigi was over in this beautiful ship that they had made, and there was lots of photos. There was a huge lineup for photos with Dr. Luigi. And then they had some music, they had dancers, they had a singer as well. It was really, really well done, and lots of drinks being served and that. So it was quite spectacular and well put on, and heaps of space for everybody, because there was a lot of people in the room, but everyone had heaps of fun. So that was the party. So look, recognition, this just kept going on for the whole thing. Obviously they started off with Active World Team, and they also recognised all the supervisors in the room that had qualified to go for it as well. They all got to stand up, and World Team.
Because to remember this as well, we have 2 major events a year, which is spectacular, which is general for everybody to go. But to get to an extravaganza, you need to get to that greatest position in that marketing plan, which is supervisor. And this is how you achieve to get to an extravaganza. You need to be a supervisor. So you get recognised to be there because you've already qualified yourself to supervisor level to be in that room. And you think about it, we're talking Asia Pacific, 18,500 supervisors in a room. And we're only talking Asia Pacific. So you do need to get yourself to supervisor as quick as you possibly can, so you can come along and experience what's available out there to you.
Definitely. Supervisors never miss out. That's what we're always taught. I'm sure Jan can completely agree with that. So this scene here that you can see, this happened right through from Active World Team to Get 25, Mill 75, and then the Lifetime Achievers, people that have been in the company for 35 years, and also the President's Team, and not just Pres Team, but, you know, 15K, 20K, you know, and it was quite amazing. So obviously they brought up to the 4 Diamond Pres Team as well, and there was so many, and it was quite obvious that Vietnam and Cambodia were on fire. Absolutely. And I think Vietnam had a few you know, tough sort of years, and of their 10 years in being in, you know, with Herbalife. So a lot of these, you know, that stuck around and got through the tough times, because sometimes new countries can have you know, negative what's it called? You know, feedback and things that happen with the media. So you've got to get through all those things as well. So, and a lot of them are quite young. There's lots of up and coming.
It was actually quite surprising when you look at people that we call president team in this company, and the age of the youth age virtually of those people. And I'm not talking, you know, we're talking people in their probably late 20s or very early 30s, where we would at times go, oh, president team, you know, you've got to be doing it for 10 and 20 years. These people were quite young, quite enthusiastic. The next generation of people are there looking for these opportunities.
Definitely, and they were, you know, very excited. Obviously, they're our future, the future of the
absolutely.
company, and I think we're in great hands for sure. But yeah, it's just Cambodia and Vietnam especially. But yeah, and even Korea, they were here. Sometimes they have their own event, and it was great having the Kims.
Don't forget, Macau is up 44% or something too. Macau is horrendous.
All countries. Yeah, so there was definitely some growth starting to happen everywhere. So I think it was great to see that. I was really excited for all those countries, and you can tell how proud they were and how much they all just got behind each other. We had Queenie Leung as well, who was the Humanitarian Award for the HNF Foundation. But she's obviously been in the company for just as long as Jennifer. In fact, I remember her coming to Australia and being trained by her, and now she's Founders Circle, and she just gave this beautiful speech about her whole story of what had happened and how negative she was and how much she didn't love herself. It was always, oh, why did everything happen to me? You know, poor me. Nothing, you know, nothing good ever happens for me. I I'm not going to get success, I'm not going to get this or that. And yet, and then she's overcome that with personal development and working on herself to where, and it wasn't always easy. She did have some tough times when no one would even in Hong Kong would take flyers from her. They just avoid her, but she just kept going.
She was a young single mother.
Yep.
She got somebody, she was really shy. Her story was inspiring. She was really shy. She found somebody that understood multi-level marketing, and that's how she basically pitched this lady. She got on board with her, found a whole heap of people, and Queenie was relying totally on her person below her. And then all of a sudden, this lady disappeared, dropped out, and took all her people she had to a different multi-level marketing company. Now, luckily, that one of the ladies' people that she picked up said to Queenie, she's left, she's gone somewhere else. Now, they could have quit at that point.
Yeah.
They could have given up. They were basically both in the room. But they didn't. They picked themselves back up and kept going, and now they're at Founder Circle.
Yeah.
So
she was president's team, the one that...
Yeah, the president's team was under Queenie. So don't ever just keep doing it. It's really what it comes down to. Just keep doing it.
Yeah, Queenie was really, really inspiring. She showed lots of great photos. There was heaps of well presented, the screens and quotes from Mark Hughes and Jim Rowan, and the whole room was just beautifully done. And was that the last one? Oh, okay, sorry, that was the last one. So there was many more. I just had trouble downloading the photos, I think, because the phone was going flat. So I have many, many more photos to share. They had lots of speakers, and it was great. I actually enjoyed having it translated sometimes, except sometimes the translator couldn't keep up with the speaker when they spoke fast. But I just think it was a fantastic event. I'm glad that we qualified for VIP.
Absolutely. Yep.
And then yesterday was our last day in Hong Kong, so we went swimming, and then it was your birthday as well. And we just basically sat down and planned out for our year and future and what we wanted to focus on, and some adjustments that we could make, what we could add in and what we could maybe blend out, not like swinging the pendulum just because you've been to an event, but blending some things in and blending some things out, and really thinking about that focus as well. So so we're really excited about the future, and it was great catching up with Lindy. I didn't get to see Coral and Michael. I can't believe I didn't get to see them, but it was I actually saw more Australians at the airport.
Yeah. But can I say, the good part is when you go to something like you've got the VIP seating. So the good part is, for me, going there was fantastic, because it's even hard to describe, what it was like. But then I sit there and thinking there was a lot of people. So next time, that would be the reason to then, I want to go ahead with my plan anyway, but it gives you more of an incentive to get to where you two did, because then you can see there's a little bit more level of comfort or a little bit of extra care, and so that then gives you, if you know someone else who's had the experience, and you go, well, I want that too. And so that gives you the inspiration, I suppose, to then keep moving on.
And I think for someone like Ross, who does get anxiety and not so great with crowds, it was probably really good that we did do the VIP seating, so that we had a bit more.
Me too. Hello.
That's right. Yes, exactly. So I would definitely say that as an incentive. And you know what? I was thinking, because we really worked hard this last 3 months, March, April, May. So I'm looking up here because we've got the numbers up here. So March we did 5,019. April we did 5,256. And May we did 5,303. And I thought, we're going away, a week out of a momentum, and what's going to happen? I know before we left it was at 4,300 or something, 200 and something, which was pretty good. I thought, that's good. That's a good, strong month. So we've just got back a new check tonight. What's the volume tonight? 5,100, and it's not even the end of the month yet. So I think this is one of our looking at downline volume as well. And we've got a great team, Trishi and Cara and Linda have got some really good up and comers starting to build and achieve their goals as well. So we really want to help work with you and help users.
So when you look at it that way, we talk often about the 90-day plan. So the 90-day plan just continues to roll, and obviously we're doing 90-day plans back to back as much as we possibly can at the moment. But it just shows it was slow momentum in the beginning. It was felt almost like a slog in that first month to qualify to the VIP section. You know what I mean? And then the last month actually was a lot easier. And this month, if the VIP qualification was still going on, so if we had started that 90-day plan further back, it would have been a lot easier, because the 90-day plan is just, it's that snowball effect. It's just picked up momentum. It's rolling. It gives yourself that enthusiasm to work harder. You go harder, you work harder, and things start to become more natural. Where, yes, it's difficult at the beginning, or it feels that way. You're pushing up that hill, but as it goes on, as the months go on, it gets easier and easier. I won't say it's simpler. It's still very simple all the time, but it does get easier, and the momentum is picked up.
Yeah.
You experience the VIP, and I'm glad we did, because it did make the queues a little bit shorter. Still, though, the product sales still was, what was it, Lindy? A 3-hour lineup wait?
3.5.
3.5, yes.
1.5 in merch and 3.5 in the product. But I got to say, I did the night works last night, and I love it.
Yeah,
That's
cool.
yeah.
So yes, so look, there was areas where even whether you're a VIP or not, you still have to line up with everybody else to get through certain sections. But it made it so much easier when you had your wristbands on. You could just lift your wristband up and just walk through and just go whatever. You could go in and out. You basically, we were sitting so close to we were the front row to that barrier on the stage, and then Mark Paulson standing up there and goes, "Hey, come over here." And we're talking to Mark Paulson and the new general manager Peter for Queensland. You know what I mean? So,
we had a good chat with him.
I was talking with him for a great time. He was a really nice bloke, but I had to end up standing on a chair because he's so tall to get my photo taken with him. But
so that VIP experience gave you that closeness to bits and pieces, gave you the ease to be able to get out. But look, any experience in that event, if you've never been before, you may have been overseas, but if you've never been overseas before, just that alone, going through an international Hong Kong airport where you walk in and it's gate 1 to gate 530, and it's like, where are we going? And it's just an experience if you've never done it before.
When I went through the airport, I had a whole lot of, like I said, I could understand a little bit of Filipino dialect, so I had a whole lot of group of them behind me, so they all wanted photos. We all got special stickers to go through somewhere else, so Herbalife and Zoe all went, they sort of put us through somewhere else. But even though it was really crowded inside the hall and you're lining up everywhere, it forces you to engage a conversation with people you probably wouldn't want to. One of the funniest things was, I don't know whether I told you, but there was a Chinese couple, and I said, "What's that you're eating?" And so he sort of tore a little strip and said, "Here, take this." Now, instead of sniffing at a body like I normally do, I took a bite, and it was dried fish. And I'm going, "Ew, ew." And then I thought, "Oh, it might be offensive," So I'm going, "Where's my water? Where's my water?" So someone found my water and guzzle, and here, you can take the rest back. So that got the whole crew laughing. So that, you can, there's so many different people and so many different stories, and even Herbalife aside, it's just lovely to meet and engage with new people, and everybody's Herbalife, so everyone's happy with each other. So, you're getting a really nice positive atmosphere. Like for Trish, who's never been before, be a fantastic experience for her to get to another one.
It's right up Trish's alley. She would have loved everything about that event. Is definitely.
I would have skipped around with Trish around the place if she wanted to go with somebody.
Well, that's the goal for next year, hey?
And the other thing I want to say is, I know that Cara said the other day that Michael, for example, because we're talking about Spectacular, because we're not sure at this stage where a particular state it could end up in. He's never flown before, and for someone that does get anxiety and does get nervous, you watch all these shows on TV about border security and rah-rah. Customs and travelling through international airport is so simple today. You have a passport that has an electronic chip in it, you slide it in, it takes your photo, you basically walk through. If you can walk through normal security in any local airport, it's no much different. It was actually quite a breeze how quickly we transitioned from country to country in bits and pieces, and it was quite simple.
It was.
It really was.
We did have a dream trip, really, and I think we after sitting down and planning and looking at what people are achieving, I really feel like we're not even hitting our full stride yet. So I think we need to get to work.
We do.
And
second outside watching you two, like you've obviously working hard all the time, but you seem to me like you've just really found your mojo. You're really just going along and you're just getting more and more. And I think, it can only get better for you both.
Yeah.
That's your message, Jan. Sorry, my phone went flat. So anyway, that was still charging. So
Yeah, look, it takes time to obviously click into this business. It takes time to find your feet. You're scared at times. But yeah, thank you, Lindy. We are probably starting to work together, and we're probably using each other's strengths probably as much as we possibly can. And that's, and everybody's an individual, and yeah.
Yeah, and you can do that with your team. So you can find your team strengths
Absolutely.
and your own strengths, or if you're working with someone, great too. But you can utilize it with your whole group. So
I was always told to find someone different, different, someone who you got on well with, but someone who had a different trait,
Yep.
so that you don't all have the same perspective of things. So that just makes you grow bigger and better if everyone has different opinions.
Better than you, basically. If you don't know how to do Facebook, go find someone that knows how to do Facebook.
Yeah.
If you're not really good on computers, go find someone that can do computers. Go find someone that has the skills that you don't have. If in your case, Linda, you're on your own, absolutely go and find someone with the skills that you're lacking with at the particular moment, and help each other grow that way, because you'll have skills that they won't have.
Yeah, but isn't it interesting though? I've been floundering with different things and trying to find different DMOs that work for me. But that first 5 minutes of going in for that weekend, ding, 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 it all went off. So it's really maybe just all the energy in the room. I've got no idea, but
Yeah, and look, I suppose we can be on this call. Like I said, we can be on this call, and we can gush it and talk it as much as we like. But you have to experience it. You absolutely have to experience it, so that from like Lindy's point of view, you get that, wow, there's that light bulb moment. Because sometimes, and I said to you the other day, part of the weekend at times felt like a blur. It really did. It was like, what have we listened to today? And you know what I mean? But there's moments within that click with you, and you go, like I said with Michael A. Johnson and the 70th Surgeon General, that was enough of a click. And if I didn't get anything else out of that whole weekend, that was enough for me to go, yes, I understand why we do this. I understand why we do this. I understand why we get in people's spaces and help them and do what we can and care about other people. And you question yourself a lot at times. I know I do. And it just makes you really realize how much we want to help other people.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
And like we got a flyer call yesterday. So, because I had my phone set up so I could take and receive and call international, while I was away. And
Sunday night.
Was it Sunday? Yeah, I think it was. No, it was when we were sitting down and doing the strategy. And
that's yesterday.
So I've got a flyer call. So I booked her in for Thursday. She's like, oh, I've got this flyer and I'm just outside the centre now. I said, well, we're not there in Hong Kong, but how about you come on Thursday, meet some of the people that are getting great results, and we can have a chat. You can try some samples. I think she sounded Asian, so I'm a bit excited about that. And yeah, I just thought that was really cool. That's the universe letting us know that we're on the right track, and that you're putting in that kind of effort. And the other thing I got from Jonathan and Isabel, that even though we don't have a nutrition club, we have a centre, but they really looked at how they were using their club and the time. So they were there between 6 a.m. and 11, then they'd pack up and they wouldn't be there again. So they actually, after the hurricane, they actually started doing shifts and making sure that the centre was fully utilised. And I know that we're still in early days with our team. I've got a young team, and as we grow and build, they'll be able to do everything that we can do, because we want to create leaders, not followers. And yes, it's great to have someone follow you to start with to learn, but then you want them to become a leader. And then those leaders are going to be doing their own shake parties and skin things and result sessions. And all of a sudden the centre will be fully utilised 7 days a week, with our team having different things as well, because they won't need us as much. They'll probably need us for certain things, but not, for the things they can do themselves. And then they're teaching their team. And that's how I want to utilise the centre, have it fully hustling, bustling with people all the time, and really utilising that so that it's not closed that often. That it's, because at the moment we only have set times that we're there. So that's what I really got out of it. And I just, I think I set the goal of, if we're already up to 5,100, I think we should try and go for 7,000 this month.
Cool.
Just putting it out there, and look, if we don't hit it.
Look at Lindy.
Well, I'm actually really excited because I've got contacts now in the States and the Philippines. So that was my...
And remember,
I'll come up and have you at the centre.
Just remember too, just finishing off, the end of the month is 30th, so it's on a Sunday. So you'll be able to do dual volume for June and July on the 1st. So make sure you keep that in mind. So you've got that Monday if you're trying to finish off some things. And look, if we aim for 7 and we don't make it, we're probably going to get further than if we didn't set that goal. So I feel it's time to start doing that, putting the bar up a bit higher.
You need to start doing a scary goal, because isn't it scary ones that you've got to go for?
Yes.
And the other thing too is, like, I know Cara is going to eventually go supervisor, so that chunk of volume that it was in download volume will go into organisational volume. But of course, we want to build our royalties too, and if we want to get to Millionaire Team in the next 2 years, putting that one out there too. And whatever goal you've got, we need to go for it. We need to keep working. So we've got a good schedule worked out, and we're going to let everyone know about it. We'll have a schedule for clients to plug into. We'll have a schedule for members to plug into. I think Trisha's already realizing, like, she often pops over for the team call, and we can do like an HOM. There'll be a whole range of things. So you just need to start doing that in your local areas. And if you're scared to do it, don't worry. So was I, and probably so were you, and everyone else. Even Jam can vouch for this. That sometimes it's scary, but you just got to start. And the only way you're going to get better is to keep doing it over and over and over again, because that's how you learn.
And really, when you look at volume points, really comes down to how many people have I helped by doing that.
Yep.
It's not always just the volume points. It's how many people have we helped. Like, we go back to the 18,500 people in that room that were supervisors. How many people around the world got helped because those people found other people and changed people's lives? It's, you don't have to look at it as volume. It's just how many people you're helping. So we've basically got this week booked. We're going to start promoting our Let's Go July event, which is all on skin and the hair care and that sort of thing. And I want to really make it quite interactive and lots of sampling. So that's our kickoff event basically for July. So we're going to start promoting that like crazy. And of course, we've got mum visiting and school holidays that coming up. So we'll just juggle it around that and still have life. And yes, so that was basically just a snippet of the extravaganza. I hope that you loved it. And there's so much more too. There's so many more things. But Monday, because Coral and Michael are back and anyone else that wants to share, you can go over your notes a bit more. We'll do a little bit more of a training / extravaganza experience. So stay tuned for that one, and we'll cover the up and coming promotions. But remember, the STS in your state is coming up as well for July. Make sure you get your ticket for that and start promoting and try and take someone with you. So if you're driving there, which most of us are doing. Oh, and it was really cool because I tracked down Phil Hayden in the crowd. I went looking for him. I said, I really want to get a photo with him or do a video and promote why, because I know what it's like when you sometimes have to travel. Lindy knows perfectly well about this, the time it takes.
But you did grab him, I've got to say, Ross.
So anyway, he came up in the foyer and spotted us, and it was great. And he just, I said, look, can you explain the benefits of people traveling to come and see you in July? And he just did such a beautiful job of that. And I'm sure you all saw it. I put it on the timeline in the Queensland Herbie group and Challenge Yourself Daily. And I think he did a great job of explaining what value he can bring. Plus, I shared his story. So we keep sharing his story, keep promoting this event, and get as many people to it as possible, because that's what's going to grow your business. And have your local ones too. So basically, you're bringing the meeting to the people by having it in the local area, or you're going to their house to do it, or they're coming to you in your local area, and then you take the meeting. So the people to the meeting, which means they may have to travel for it. But to build their confidence and belief and trust, you need to take the meeting to them first. Okay, so just remember that. And there's probably a few other exciting things coming up too for this month. So I know I'm looking at the time. It was supposed to be half an hour, but it's an hour. Go figure. We had too much to share. I'm going to take screen share off, just so we can see everyone. Cool. So Jan and Trishy have their cameras off, but that's okay. Thank you, Lindy, for sharing. You're very brave. I'm very proud of you for being so brave. I know it was hard for you and a very emotional time. You did a great job.
Yeah, it was good. It was just, good to get back, because it just felt like superstar status when I got home, because they wanted me.
That's right. So will I message the girls because it's not our week, but so I'm definitely missing them. But I know that what I'm doing or we're doing is for their future as well, to show them that anything is possible, and if you just go for it, that you can achieve all your goals.
Absolutely.
So I want to set the best example for that. So thank you for listening, everyone. I'm going to convert this, put it onto YouTube and share it on the group. And remember, we're going to elaborate a little bit more of the training structure and some of the things that you can utilize in your business on Monday night.
Yep.
So have a nice
the
rest.
Monday night link will go back to the normal link. I had to use this one tonight because of it wasn't set into the schedule.
Cool.
That's right. We're going to have a nice sleep and
I'm going to put some more eye stuff on. I've used a lot of it.
Yeah.
So,
Did you get the night works? You should try that.
Yes. I might do
It's
that.
lovely.
So everyone have a great night. Thank you for listening in, and we'll definitely see you all at the next STS.
Okay. See you next week.
Thank you. Great call. Bye.
Thanks.
Bye.
Yeah.